Welcome to Parramatta Stadium, venue for the fourth qualifying final and the playoff wild cards, the New Zealand Warriors. Taking on the minor premiers, this side that under-promised and has overachieved in 2001. Their captain, Stacey Jones, his first taste of finals football. Cleary is one of only four who has tasted finals football previously. And what a moment for these players. They were beaten last round by the Cowboys, a celebration day that turned sour at Ericsson last Sunday against the Cowboys. CUCU, their player of the year. And now the Parramatta Eels, runaway minor premiers. The only side that has beaten them since round 6 has been the New Zealand Warriors. Nathan Kalis is captain. They tuned up for the finals last Sunday with a gritty win over the Sydney Roosters. Captain into finals football. Let's go through these sides. Peter Sterling.
There are a couple of changes to the Parramatta lineup. Brett Hodgson at fullback. Luke Burke comes in for Scott Donald on one wing. Jason Moody on the other. Lyon and Violecki the centres. Michael Butner at 5'8". Jason Taylor at half. Daniel Wagon locks the scrum. The Hindmarsh brothers in the second row. Nathan and Ian. Nathan Kalis captains the side. Brad Drew at hooker. Alex Chan comes in for the suspended Michael Vella. And off the bench, Marsh, Robinson, Solomona and Danny Sullivan. He's in for Andrew Ryan, who has a hamstring problem.
And the New Zealand Warriors, as per program, Cleary, Farfili, Torpy, Melly, Harpy, Tony, Jones, Korpu, Gutenbeil, Swan, Lautiti, Deeth, Ciaciu, Wood, Tukey, Miles and Villasanti, coached by Daniel Anderson.
Sideline this afternoon, international Panthers centre Ryan Girdler. Good afternoon.
G'day, Vossi. Yeah, it's a beautiful day down here, mate. About 20 degrees, good crowd in, should be a great game.
And we are ready for kick-off. Cloud cover here at Parramatta Stadium, not quite capacity. Tim Mander referee. And the Eels will get us underway. Luke Byrne is the man to do just that. Fourth qualifying final. And of course, Brisbane fans watching this one very closely. Should the Warriors win today, Brisbane would make their exit from the finals as the Roosters did last night. Cleary's with the ball for the Warriors outside the 20. And Parramatta playing for the chance to have next weekend off. Lauatiti, Newcastle in the box seat so far after the results this weekend. Jason Deeth back in field for Gutenbeil. Over the 40-metre line. They have clashed 2 times this year, these two sides. Splitting the games. That round 18 clash at Ericsson to the Warriors after the Eels led by 10 early. Strong charge from CUCU. It came loose. And Amanda's call will be knocked on against the Warriors.
And Pat's there for Alex Chan, who came in. Strong tackle, actually got bumped off, but in the process, ball came loose in the tackle. And the Warriors claiming the ball went backwards and should have been play on. The referee saw differently.
And for the scrum, Modu Tony standing at half for the Warriors as Taylor works it. Was in doubt with bronchitis coming into the game. Butner. Jones defending out wide. He's there to make the tackle. Kevin Campion, one of those players injured last Sunday against the Cowboys, a hamstring injury. They also lost Monty Beetham. A couple of their real enforcers in the pack absent today for what is the biggest moment in the club's history. Daniel Wagon with the ball now to the 30-metre line. So an early chance for Parramatta here. Brad Drew, rested last week, is there. Kalis now running against some of his test teammates. Of course, he is the New Zealand captain. That is raked away there from Jerry CUCU with a boot. And Mander has awarded the penalty to Parramatta 20 metres out. Only a matter of metres off centre.
We would have to think this was accidental in the play the ball. I don't know that he would deliberately strike for the ball. But an early shot here as Kalis points to the posts, and Jason Taylor will come up to try and open the scoring in this final. See number 8 there, Jerry Ciaciu. His foot accidentally touches the ball as he tried to get up and be marker. He never struck for the ball. Was placed down by the Parramatta player, and the back foot of Ciaciu drags it away from the play the ball area. Tim Mander very quickly awarded the penalty.
Coincidentally, Ray, Gus, whoever you are, we saw something very similar in the marathon game last night where Matt Parsons did exactly the same. The referee called a scrum, and that was in the opening minutes and went against the Roosters, who were playing the ball in an attacking position.
Taylor has this kick. He doesn't like being reminded about his finals record. 13 matches in finals football, only 3 victories. That could change dramatically this year, his last year in the NRL. And his first kick from 20 metres out. Taylor off the boot, spot on as expected. So the first points are on the board to Parramatta, 3 gone and 2-0 to the Eels. As the Warriors were looking for a quick restart. Off the mound, the delay. So what was going to be a quick kick-off, just the opposite. 4th qualifying final, and a real nerve settler for the Warriors, conceding that penalty goal. And now Parramatta off their own line. Kalis is with it, charging into Gutenbill and Melly into their 20-metre line after 26 rounds. Parramatta 42 competition points, only 4 losses this year, and the Warriors scraping into the 8 on 26. And he was almost back to the 40. Brad Drew back infield, another hit up for Kalis, mixes his game up well. Hodgson, and then Taylor was looking to pass and manhandled there by Korpu. Strong arm defence. In fact, it was Torpy who got up there, ball and all, to make the challenge. Now Violecki with the ball. Almost away from Korpu that time. Defending alongside of Stacey Jones. Buettner will kick from halfway. Driving it to the wing of Fafili. Cleary is back there, 5 out from his goal line. He may look to link with his winger. In fact, Fafili stays infield. Cleary tackled on the 20.
And if Stacey Jones is to continue to play defensively out wide, I'm sure David Violecki will fancy his chances one-on-one. He did score at Ericsson Stadium, brushing off Stacey Jones from a scrum win. I think he'll have plenty of opportunities to do so this afternoon as the Warriors centre field. Deep goes to Jones.
And pushes along for Logan Swan, who only returned last week from a pretty bad shoulder injury suffered late in the season. They welcome his return. Gutenbill gets another hit up and a penalty against the Eels for inside the 10. So the Warriors will have the opportunity to attack deep inside Parramatta territory. Jones has kicked for touch. Looking a little dusty off the boot. Moody does extremely well. Bats it back inside for Buettner. Wonderful play by Jason Moody, playing his 100th first grade game today. And the Warriors denied a chance to attack.
Yeah, finals football, you've got to make sure of all the little things, and that includes kicking for touch when you're given a penalty. Great leap there by Moody, comes down, knocks it back in field, relieves the pressure for Parramatta. The Warriors should have been on the attack, now they're defending.
And Nathan Hindmarsh, man of the match last Sunday. He was almost through the tackle of Torpy there, over the 40-metre line. Now Violecki, he's also playing against some old mates today. He was a junior Kiwi in '98. Brad Drew deciding to chip early in the count. Chasing through is Hodgson. Gutenbill gets back there. Drew was knocked down in back play. No report coming. Good work by the Warriors' second rower to get back. And now Harpy comes in off the wing. But Brad Drew so dangerous in this Parramatta side.
We might see a little bit more of that short kicking from Parramatta. Ivan Cleary is a great defensive fullback, very steady player. Doesn't have great speed, however, so short little kicks, chip kicks, grubber kicks could be the order of the day from the Parramatta Eels.
Brutal defence there on Death. It was from Ian Hindmarsh and Alex Chan. Lauatiti went to dummy half, and Jones, they work to the right with Swan. One of the Kiwis internationals in this New Zealand Warriors side. Last tackle here for the Warriors. Jones got a high ball. He's not that tall, so it wasn't that easy to gather in. Hodgson is with it. And on the 30-metre line, trapped there by Korpu. 2-0 the score early, just a Taylor goal, the points on the board. Parramatta outside their 30, Nathan Kalis. He really has been an inspiration for his side all year. Now Jason Moody. When I say it's his 100th first grade game, it's his 46th for Parramatta. Drew from dummy half, again posing those questions. Nathan Hindmarsh wide, running at Jones, he beats him, and coming from behind Torpy. Just about a try saver. Nathan Hindmarsh had plenty of support. Drew on tackle number 5, kicks from 25 metres out to the wing of Harpy, and he is back, Shantaine Harpy. They'll get a 20-metre restart, the Warriors, but real concerns down that right side defence for the Warriors.
They'll be disappointed with that last kick, Brad. Drew just went too deep. Easily disposed of by Shantaine Harpy. And again, Nathan Hindmarsh operating on that left side, so strong up top. Great cover defending tackle by Torpy. Warriors now 40 out from their own line. Guttenbiel takes it towards halfway.
It's been a story of great courage. The Warriors back rower Guttenbiel, 34 games in 5 years before this season because of injury. Motu Tony with the ball. Only 20 years of age in his first season of first grade. Guttenbiel there at dummy half for Jones, 35 metres out, running at the line. Cleary comes into that line and is well tackled by Wagon. Bringing him towards the sideline. Now Torpy back infield for Jones. Here comes their bomb. It is pressure this time on the Eels, number 1. Hodgson turns and takes it. And Hodgson straight away keen to attack. Back to the 10-metre line. Deeth was around his ankles in the tackle. And a dummy half with Luke Burt. Very keen to tussle for wing spots in this Parramatta side. Burt getting the nod today ahead of Donald. Whitner, blindside with Ian Hindmarsh. Running straight at Melly. Let's look at the top. Only 4 of these Warriors have tasted finals football before, and only 2 in the starting lineup. Jason Deeth and Ivan Cleary. It is new to them, and on the last tackle, the Warriors concede a penalty on halfway.
Yeah, that was a bad one. 5th tackle. They've done pretty well, the Warriors there. Now back-to-back sets of 6 for Parramatta. They move the ball better than any team in the competition. It's hard to keep defending to them back-to-back sets.
And they've been so prolific in scoring the first try this season. Now Buettner with it. 25 metres away from the line and going across field with a fend and a step. And now straightens up and tackled by Guttenbiel. That is the Warriors 20. Drew gets them back to the left with Kalis. And Kalis around the back of Hodgson. No Shepherd for Taylor. Keeps it going for Hindmarsh. Now there's trouble. Little Jones. It is a mismatch. It's a heavyweight against a flyweight out wide. They're 15 metres from the line. Vailecki back infield for Taylor. Inside for Kalis. How hard is the captain working? 9 metres from the Warriors line. And again with Drew. Taylor. Cut out ball for Hodgson. They're lined up on the right with Ian Hindmarsh. Hindmarsh will get there to score the first try. They were queued up on the right, and the Eels have done it again. The first 4-pointer, it is 6 points to 0.
And the first real test for the Warriors, as Phil Gould pointed out, back-to-back sets. Difficult to defend against. They play Nathan Hindmarsh wide to the left, his brother Ian to the right, and it's just a simple one-on-one miss here. Ian Hindmarsh, he's well covered there by Francis Melly, who was unable to contain the big back rower, and it was a simple run of about 6 or 7 metres once he'd broken the front line to score the first 4 points.
But of course, Hindmarsh runs over the top of the centre there, Melly, who defends in the 5'8" position. And they're trying to protect Motu Tony, the normal 5'8", who defends in the centre position. And this area of the field is going to get plenty of punishment today. Big men on little men. Good footwork there from Hindmarsh. All these Parramatta forwards have the ability to step, hold the ball out in front. And good positioning by the Parramatta team to get these big men on probably the poorer defenders in this Warriors team.
When you're talking Kangaroo Tour contenders, the spot on the tour would not be undeserved for Ian Hindmarsh. Doesn't get the headlines of his brother, but a valuable member of this side as Taylor looks for 2 from 2. 21 metres in from the western touchline. We know this routine well. We've been watching it for over a decade. And Taylor off the boot, bit of swing on it, but successful. So the 4th qualifying final and the first try to the Eels. It is 8-0. We will break. And welcome to our international audience. Those in New Zealand watching today. A nervous time, an anxious time, watching your team in the finals for the first time. Certainly worthy of a place, though.
No stats, fellas. No stats.
12 minutes gone in the last game of the first weekend of playoffs, and the kick from Cleary is dead. over the dead ball line on the full, and a penalty the centre of halfway. Gus, you talked about the little things not being done right. They've just committed another error.
They certainly have. Didn't find touch from a penalty restart now with a kick-off restart over the dead ball line on the full. And we saw from that last kick a goal by Jason Taylor just how much wind is behind this New Zealand team. It's really sprung up from the southwest over here. It's going to favour them in the first half. Parramatta doing well to be in front on the scoreboard.
Early change for the Eels. Chad Robinson is out there as Wagon gets them to the 30-metre line. Ooh, Nathan Kalis.
There's a very early change, isn't it? See Ryan Girdler, whether there's an injury problem at all. Normally we expect something around the 18-20 minute mark. This was after 12.
And there is Robinson passing for Taylor, then back for Butner. Robinson playing only his 5th game for the year, so it's a big moment for him. Eels 20 metres away from the Warriors line, leading by 8 points to nil. Ian Hindmarsh now dumping that one back for Drew. He had a chance to pass on the right and now able to offload. They're short on numbers here, the Warriors. Robinson is 10 metres out and able to keep it alive, still short. Hodgson gets the pass for Wagon. The try comes. The second one for the Blue and Golds. And it is looking all bad for the Warriors. It is all good for the Eels.
Well, you've got to make your tackles in finals football. In fact, you've got to make your tackles in any football. They had ample opportunity to close down Brad Drew, and then also Chad Robinson, who goes in, Phil, takes on a couple of defenders. As we freeze it there, all of a sudden, by the very fact that that pass has been thrown, you can see we've got plenty of attacking players against 3 defenders, and it's a good line run as play continues by Daniel Wagon into the hole. You can see Stacey Jones, he was concerned with the outside runner Nathan Hindmarsh and the try scorer. Got caught in no man's land, but really it should have been closed down much earlier than these later passes.
Yeah, this is a great ball here from Robinson. He looked gone for all money, gets the ball out. They didn't lock up the ball there. When you start a tackle against Parramatta, you have to finish it. You can't allow it and leave the work up to someone else. The ball must die with your tackle. And on that occasion, both Drew and Robinson got it away. Then just hands on the outside. Wagon hit the gap nicely, and Taylor opportunity to put them 14 in front, and a great start for the Eels in their first semi-final.
Highest point scorer in premiership history. Milestone he reached this year. The man he passed, Daryl Halligan, is here today watching. As Taylor from 15 in from touch drives this one and misses. And the scoreline is 12-0. 4th qualifying final. Ryan Girdler sideline.
Yeah, I think the Warriors have got to stop giving Parramatta cheap ball. Stacey Jones, some of the older guys, more experienced guys, have got to settle the guys down and tell them that there's a long way to go in this game, and that they're a good side and they're here because they deserve to be.
So Michael Vella and Andrew Ryan on the bench. Vella will be back from suspension next game. Andrew Ryan said he probably could have played today, but don't want to risk the problem he's got with a hamstring. If they did have to play next week, certainly in a fortnight, he'll be 100%. If they win today, they get next week off. Robinson. Probably the only good news for the Roosters today is that he is bound for the Roosters next season. Nathan Hindmarsh. A short run out of dummy half, and still he looks to bump off a couple. Fafili and Torpy there combining. Hodgson back infield for Wagon. Warriors have made their first interchange. David Miles is out there.
Here's Shontaine Harvey, maybe the man who has been taken off. He is a winger, and that's seen a reshuffle with Francis Melly being pushed out onto the wing.
Now Drew back infield for Taylor. He kicks from outside the 40. Got 2 good exponents of the 40-20 here on show today, Taylor and Jones for their respective teams.
Well, in fact, Stacey Jones has been the most successful kicker in 40-20s all season with 4 next to his name.
And he's got the breeze at his back in this first half. Now Corpu is with it. And Jason Deeth left with Jones. Now Lauatiti, who could have been an Eel this year. Loose ball picked up by Modu Tony. He's such a dangerous player. Amanda has got a little knock on in all of that. It is not going right here for the Warriors.
This was always going to be the problem with the Warriors. They can handle the physical part of finals football, no doubt. The emotional part is the one they've got to contend with. 12 down on the scoreboard, all of a sudden feeling as though they've got to catch up points very, very quickly and going for passes that just aren't on. More possession to the Parramatta Eels, and no defence, let alone the Warriors, are going to keep this Parramatta team at bay, giving them this much possession.
When they clashed in round 18, the Eels led 12-2 after 20, and the Warriors went on to win. Violecki is with the ball, taken front on there by Torpy. been just about the form setter in the comp over the past couple of months. A penalty against the Warriors, and now March 10, I think you'll find.
Yeah, back chatting there from Clinton Torpey. He wasn't happy with the decision by the referee. Gave him a piece of his mind, and it's cost his side 10. We now see the Eels inside the 20 with 6 tackles.
And Hindmarsh running straight at Swan, almost out the other side, Nathan Hindmarsh. Only 5 metres from the line. All the dummy half. Across field, looking for a straight runner now, Brad Drew. And then a dummy, and then somehow he got his boot to the ball. I think he dropped it at first. And then it's covered up there by Melly, and he's going to rule a knock on, Tim Mann.
Yeah, smart thinking here by Brad Drew. Tried to fool the referee into thinking he'd put a little kick through there. The ball was bobbled in his hands through the tackle, gets out. He just puts a little kick in there and said, I was putting a grubber kick through, sir. That's not a knock on. I wasn't stripped. Tim Mander said, too smart. I've seen it all before. Scrum. Warriors feed.
And Miles has got the ball, former Gold Coast player, Brisbane born. Tackled outside the 10. They really need to settle down. The New Zealand Warriors, Swan is with it. Back to their own 20. Second interchange now for the Warriors. CU has gone to the bench. They've had some great moments with their bench players this year. Villasanti's about to get his first touch. There he is there. He's become just about the #1 super sub in the game, Richard Villasanti. They've got Mark Tukey waiting in the wings as well. Some powerful runners. Now Jones kicks from inside the 40 here. And it's a chase back for Jason Moody. It is headed for the sideline. Moody knows the urgency of the situation. Does well again, Jason Moody. And now Hodgson is with the ball. Links up at the back with Burt. And Jones makes the tackle.
Well, that's great football from both teams there. Firstly, Jason Moody to get back and stop the 40-20. Then the confidence to find Hodgson, who in turn found Burt. But the chase was excellent from the Warriors. They came up with a tackle well inside the Parramatta 20. That's twice now Moody has come up with good work on the football, keeping it in play.
And the touch for Luke Burt, running at Death and Gutenbill. Just over their 30-metre line. Up near the 20,000 mark, the crowd here. A few Warriors scattered amongst the blue and gold. Some have come across the Tasman. They didn't want to miss the moment. Now Butner kicks from the 40-metre line this time. It has found open space for Feely and Cleary. They have to communicate there. It bounces for Cleary. They were in two minds, and Nathan Hindmarsh makes the tackle on the Warriors fullback. This tackle's real trouble for the Warriors early. Miles is with the ball, trying to bump away from Jamie Lyon. And outside their 30. And Melly from dummy half. The Warriors get a penalty. That certainly helps. Stacey Jones, he's been such a campaigner. You really do feel happy for this little bloke that he is playing finals football. He's been there since day one in 1995. He's seen the club evolve from the Auckland Warriors to the New Zealand Warriors. Villasanti on the charge and is 25 metres away from the Eels line. Jason Death. Infield they come with Lauatiti. He's got the Fred Astaire footwork. This young Warriors prop. Now the switch of play from Gutenbill for Jones. Inside for Cleary. First test on this Parramatta defensive line. The Warriors 10 metres out. Death to the right with Jones. Keeps it going for young Tony. And Tony a straight pass there for Korpu. Still 10 metres out from the line. A lock forward standing wide for the Warriors. Jones again. Nice ball there for Death. And Butner makes a tackle after Ian Hindmarsh had fell off. It is the last tackle for the Warriors. Cleary. Jones is with it. Didn't get the best of passes again. And likewise the kick isn't that flash, but Fafili up high. And the Eels, the intercept for Drew.
And no surprise to see Stacey Jones going towards Farfeli on that right-hand side. This New Zealand Warriors winger leaps higher than any other player in the game. As soon as the fifth tackle option was there, he pointed to the right-hand side. But the Parramatta side were ready for it. Got plenty of numbers across there. Intercepted the knockback.
Lyon playing it. There was no dummy half. There was real urgency. The Warriors
No way in the world, mate.
found to infringe. He wasn't standing square, the call from Tim Mander on David Miles, but this was almost a disaster here for Parramatta on their own 30. There is no dummy half there. And Miles says, here's my chance.
Well, actually, I disagree with the referee. I think David Miles was square and the man playing the football actually moved.
Ball goes against the New Zealand side. Now Brad Drew, 45 metres away. Kalis carries the ball forward. Plenty of gusto from this young Eels front rower. Drew working left with Taylor for Butner. The old Bears half 5-8 combination via Leckie. Dumps the pass back for Nathan Hindmarsh. And this time they contain Nathan. 32 metres from the Warriors line. Drew wants a blindside shot. They're so dangerous here, Butner. Lovely hands back for Drew. 15 metres from the Warriors line. Now he goes backwards. Kalis, Hodgson. Hodgson is 20 away. Links up with Lyon. Lyon can offload for Moody. And now over the sideline. Exciting play from Parramatta, but equally good. No panic from the Warriors defence.
Yeah, no panic's the word there. A lot of offloads from Parramatta down the left-hand side of the field. Open up space over here on the right. Hodgson floated across the field, looking for someone to drop off in defence, but they held their line, the Warriors. They held the gaps, didn't panic. Tony makes a good effort there on Jamie Lyon. Didn't give Moody any room, and they just rushed Parramatta out of space.
The replay shows Modu Tony doing a fantastic job. He tackled both Lyon and Moody. And from the scrum win, Francis Millie. Parramatta have Denny Sullivan warming up. Likewise the Warriors with Mark Tukey, as the Warriors almost back to the 20-metre line. Jason Deeth, the dummy half, is bound for the Rabbitohs next year. The hit-up comes from Villasanti. Such a powerful runner. Played with the Tigers most recently before linking with the Warriors, but a Canberra junior. Gutenbill to the 40-metre line for the Warriors. Deeth, a switch of play with Jones, and now out for Lauatiti. Running at Taylor. Pass away for Miles. And Miles over the sideline. No, very close. Did very well, David Miles, in the line and Moody tackle. High ball again for Jones. Passes along for Deeth. Keeps it alive for Swan. The kick comes from the back rower. Hodgson is back there on his own. And that is the 10-metre line. Passes straight away for Moody. A little ragged there, the Warriors. It wasn't a straight line, and Jones makes the tackle on Moody. He was looking to run a good distance downfield.
Well, we talk about the danger of the back three for the likes of Brisbane and Cronulla. Their wingers and fullbacks so dangerous in bringing the ball back, and Parramatta are showing their hand. They're effective as well. A lot of confidence between the wingers and Brett Hodgson. They're prepared to throw the long ball and maybe find a gap if the defence comes forwards. Taylor can't find one. He's tackled 48 out from his own line.
Swan was the defender that time. Now Sullivan is out there. He's come to full fitness. Only his 4th game in first grade for the year. As now Taylor's kick is wide to the wing of Melly. It's batted back by Moody. This is play on. Lyon has lost it. Tony is there with Moody. And on the last tackle, it will be a changeover.
Yeah, almost perfectly worked there by Parramatta. It was a shallow crossfield kick, knowing that Moody would come in. Didn't quite bounce up for Jamie Lyon, who was well attended there by Miles. And a let off for the Warriors, who are just starting to show signs of tiredness as we get down to the last 14 minutes of this first half.
Fafili. Tukey is out there. He was a hero here of the Parramatta fans not so long ago. He had a badly dislocated knee. I don't think there's a good dislocated knee. He had a bad one this year. It kept him out for much of the season. But he's here for the finals campaign. Now Jones to the right with Villasanti. Good offload. Jones and Deeth on halfway. Finds Tukey on the inside ball. Big fend there on Nathan Kalis. They renew their friendship on opposite teams. Stacey Jones, 45 from the line. Gutenbill running again at Taylor. Jones is the man there directing a lot of their attack at Parramatta. The Warriors are trying to do same with Taylor. Jones's bomb. Hodgson having to run from well back. The ball is allowed to bounce. Hodgson hasn't cleaned it up. And the Warriors have the ball with Tukey, or rather Villasanti. And it is still alive and the tackle count restarts. Here is the chance they have been waiting for. And there will be a penalty against David Violecki. It is almost right in front. Tony takes the quick tap. Modu Tony has scored. Modu Tony has scored for the Warriors.
Just check the grounding, mate.
Manda wants to check with a video referee on the put down, but I don't think there's any drama whatsoever.
I'm sure we'll find there's no drama. The only drama is the lack of urgency in the Parramatta defensive line. They had an eternity to get set. Not quite sure why David Violecki would still be out there arguing. That's great work from the pivot for the New Zealand Warriors, and it does get them back into this game. It will be 6 points, and all of a sudden the scoreboard is not so bad for them. But you just do not expect a side like Parramatta, who have defended so well all season, to be caught out from a tap 8 metres out from their line when they've got time to be set.
And there's the green light. Great thinking here by Motu Tony. And as Peter Sterling said, this was the bomb put up by Stacey Jones, a scramble for the ball. Hodgson had a lay on it, couldn't pick it up. Richard Belissanti came up with possession for the Warriors from the ensuing penalty. Parramatta just didn't get in possession. Now, David Violecki was up there arguing the point with the referee, probably trying to buy a little bit of time for his teammates. Manda didn't listen. The teammates didn't regather. And some good footwork there, and a nice lunge gets it down underneath the post. Quick thinking, a good hit back. They needed it badly.
And that replay showed that Manda had made the mark, so he's entitled to take the tap. Cleary successful with a kick. The Warriors get their first points ever in finals football. It is 12-6. 12 away from half-time. Cleary, a former Seagull, former Rooster, former Bear. The back for the Warriors, returning from an ankle injury today. His fourth qualifying final. Crowd has gone a little silent. Burt goes for the short one. I'm not sure whether that was his intentions. It's fielded there by Cleary. He took an awful lot of sand with a kick. In fact, I'm positive it wasn't meant to be a short kickoff.
I think that was meant to go down towards the try line and made about 15 metres. The last thing Parramatta would want to do is give good field position from the kickoff. No, he's just miscued that one, definitely.
His header's come up with a shot. Gutenbeil has worked very hard for this New Zealand side. Motu Tony hit it across field with Jones. And then the cutout ball wide with Korpu. Lock forward for this Warriors side, 40 metres from the Parramatta line. Stacey Jones, he had Tukey on the inside, goes outside with a try scorer. Tony now across field, and then links up with Miles. Miles' pass was knocked down. Play on for Parramatta. Brad Drew. So the Warriors, though, are starting to cause some problems of their own. Denny Sullivan offloading there for Hodgson, and Jones has got the strip on the ball, but it'll be a knock-on against the Warriors halfback. Nothing wrong with the strip, but it travelled forward. It will be a Parramatta feed.
Here will the Warriors go from looking as though they're tired to all of a sudden being right in Parramatta's face and playing for every ball that's up for grabs. Stacey Jones in there fighting with Brett Hodgson, looking to get possession for his team. Gee, 3 or 4 minutes ago they had their hands on the hips. Nothing like what a try can do to lift your spirits. He's just unlucky there, Stacey Jones. The ball went to ground off his hand. Otherwise would have been great field position for the Warriors.
The scrum on the Parramatta 30-metre line. Let's take a comment from the sideline. Ryan Girdler.
Yeah, guys, as this game seems to open up, Motu Tony seems to be getting a lot more involved. He's getting a bit of a break in defence. He's standing outside his centre. But when the Warriors got the ball, he's the first man to get his hands on it, and he's a real danger to the Eels.
Played Test football this year, the number 6 for the Warriors. Now Nathan Hindmarsh running there at Torpy and Farfili on halfway.
A little bit fired up against Nathan Hindmarsh as well. There's a little bit of a set two between he and Stacey Jones only moments ago. Brad Drew.
This is a big run from Brad Drew. He's been doing it all season, and he links up with Violecki. He is the boy of the year, Brad Drew. Violecki gets the spoils. He can chalk this one up to the Eels' number 9. Parramatta's 3rd try.
He's been on the field for longer this afternoon than I can remember. Brad Drew normally off after about 20-25. As play goes down the short side, Brad Drew threw a dummy to the right, poor marker defence, and Brad Drew, he's a former halfback, he's got good speed, he could have scored himself here, but he just offloaded to David Violecki, could have given it to Burt, could have given it to Sullivan. One marker there, beat him, and then it was easy down the side.
Brian Smith talks glowingly of Brad Drew, who unselfishly handed that ball off to Violecki. He probably felt as though he was going to stumble and fall over. Watch the footwork here. He has a great ability to make markers go the wrong way, let them make the first decision before he can go where he wants to be. Now he's into open space, a former halfback playing in the hooking role in the modern game. he can dummy, he can step, he's got speed. Now as he starts to stumble, he says, Violecki, you go in case I fall over. And a gift there for David Violecki.
His 9th try of the year, and now Taylor lines up the kick, and we'd seen a shot just before the try was scored. PJ Marsh waiting to come on. So 30 seconds later, Drew's not out there. As Taylor converts, the margin is again 12 points as Drew goes to the bench. Ryan Girdler sideline.
Yeah, as you said, mate, he's just gone to the bench. As we all know, he had a week off last week and he's looking fresher for it. But the short sides, they're really hitting him hard, and you know, they're producing good things for him.
And here he is again, Brad Drew, the former Panther. What a player, what a season he has had. And Violecki getting the reward there. Parramatta 3 tries to 1. The minor premiers up by 12.
It was just great presence of mind to realise he was stumbling and perhaps he could have fallen over and bombed the try, and he just unselfishly handed it off to Violecki there. That's a thinking player.
Sullivan crashes back from the restart of play. Hodgson, he's only had the 1 game the last 3 weeks, so he should be fresh. The Parramatta fullback. PJ Marsh off to the Warriors next season. Big tackle, and has lost it now. That appeared to have the left arm of Miles in the tackle. Villasanti's gone off to referee Tim Mander.
Hand in there.
Gee whiz, this is unlucky, I believe.
That's it, mate.
I may be proved wrong, but it was just it was a solid hit. And that ball's just come loose out of the ground. I don't know that that was stripped by the Warriors at all. That should have been play on.
Well, Villasanti's dirty. He'd made the big shot, but Miles was the player penalised. He wasn't aware what designs Miles had gone into the tackle with. Kalis is with the ball. Tukey there in defence.
But in finals football, you've got to overcome those little calls that go against you. The one previous by Stacey Jones in the strip was called to have knocked on. That looked as though the ball was going to come out anyway, whether Miles had his hand there or not. The Warriors have got to steel themselves against those and not be concerned by them, and certainly don't concede points. As Hindmarsh almost through. Great tackle by the lock forward Corpu.
It certainly was off a Taylor pass. Now Denny Sullivan. Death takes in front on. 25 metres from the Warriors line. The Eels get it going again. Taylor. They warm up outright in. Hindmarsh has to kick on the last. The kick is not going to trickle over the dead ball line. Now it does. Warriors will go back to the 20, and thankfully so, I would think, in the mind of Ivan Cleary. He didn't want to run that ball back.
And I think it shocked Ian Hindmarsh that he ended up with the football. The backs out wide, had their arms raised for the crossfield kick. Taylor shaped the kick, then threw the long ball to Hindmarsh, and he rushed that effort.
Fairly short of the 40. Jason Death want to do some of his own out of dummy half. He was the Warriors Player of the Year a couple of seasons ago. Gutenbeal to Jones, then for Swan. And a lovely ball from Swan. Cleary with a juggle. It's play on. Cleary is through. 20 metres out from the Eels line. Plenty of cover defence there. Now an intercept. This is wonderful league. The chase is on Jamie Lyon. Lyon ankle tap there by Villasanti. And Lyon is back to his feet. 40 metres out from the line. He's got Tukey for pace. What about this? How good is that? Jamie Lyon scores the try, and the blue and gold flags go up. What a moment in finals football for young Jamie Lyon.
Hey, good on you, Jamie, the boy from Wee Waa. There's a lot of talent in this Parramatta lineup, but he's a bit special. Now again, unfortunately for the Warriors, things were looking well for them. They're keeping the ball alive. Cleary, he just wants to link up on the outside. As we freeze it there, you can see if this pass finds this man, there is actually support on the outside. It's 2-on-1. Jamie Lyon, he stops. He realises that he's got to come in and get involved, and he does so with precise timing. Grabs the ball out of the air. Villasanti, what a job from the big man. Ankle tap. Looked as though it had broken down there. Moody flies past, and Jamie Lyon picks up, and all of a sudden he finds himself in open space. Big men trying to chase him. Tukey's there, also Logan Swan. But the young centre does it all.
He showed great speed. He was away down the right-hand side of the field, ankle tap. This was the beautiful play, where he waits for Moody, shows him the ball, and the defence reacts to Moody. Moody thought he should have got it. Lyon goes back in field. He said, now who's here? Big Mark Tukey, Logan Swan. That's an 11 and a 15. I'm a number 3. Let's foot race. And away he goes. And as he gets into the clear, the blue and gold army go up behind him in the grandstands. a sensational individual try and a terrific young player.
And Taylor from right in front. Well, Jamie Lyon, 19 years of age, second year of first-grade football. Ryan Girdler sideline. How good is this young centre?
Yeah, he's a brilliant young player, and the thing is, he really showed a lot of confidence in his own speed there. He could have taken the easy option and given it to Jason Moody, but he thought he was going to do it himself, and he did. So, yeah, he's got a big future.
He was backing back in defence as Ivan Cleary came across the field, and you could see he actually realised if he kept backing back, he was just going to give them the overlap. So he made a decision, and he went up to the line and took the ball because he knew the pass had to come from Cleary.
You know what was amazing? Down the right-hand side of the field, I thought the Warriors got a lucky call. When Cleary juggled the ball, it came off Jones, went back to Cleary, and it turns out to be an unlucky call because the next pass is intercepted for a try. So a good break ended up a bad break.
Jamie Lyon, the try scorer, hasn't missed a game since coming into first grade 9 weeks before the end of last season. And now the Eels inside the 30. We said last week he's the only Parramatta player to play in every game this year. PJ Marsh with the ball, confronted there by Jason Death. Daniel Wagon. They've posted 4 first-half tries, the minor premiers. Biggest lead of the match now, 18 points. PJ Marsh back in with Burt. Contained inside the 40 on tackle number 5. Taylor is on the left side of the ruck and kicking from inside the 40. Driving that one low. Covered up nicely by Fafili. And Fafili has a chance to run. Enjoyed plenty of try-scoring moments this year, the three-quarter line for the Warriors. Fafili himself, 14 tries, the number 1 man. And now Miles, 5 metres inside his own half. Villasanti playing so well, headed towards the sideline. He had to pass in the Buettner and Moody tackle. Another turnover. Ian Hindmarsh just short of halfway. Inside the final 60 seconds of this first half, it would be a killer blow for the Warriors if Parramatta were to come up with more points here. Solomona is on and passes for Nathan Hindmarsh. Hindmarsh is 30 away. He's still going. This raging ball, and that's apologies to Gordon Tallis, because this young bloke has really stepped up as the most damaging back rower in the game. 22 metres from the Warriors line. Wagon for Taylor. Taylor away for Hodgson. Hodgson inside for Hindmarsh, who is cleaned up by Villasanti. That is a demolition job from the number 17 for the Warriors. Buettner for Hodgson, then for Marsh, put down by Lyon. And that will be the end of the first 40 minutes. What about this tackle from Richard Villasanti? It has rattled every bone in the body of Ian Hindmarsh. First 40 minutes gone in this 4th qualifying final. The Warriors conceding 2 tries early, then getting one of their own. But then the Eels back on top. Going to the break. They have scored 4 tries to 1. It is sudden death today for the Warriors if they lose. Parramatta looking to advance to just 1 game away from the grand final. We will break. Half-time here, 24 points to 6. Welcome back to Parramatta Stadium. This 4th qualifying final not going according to plan for the New Zealand Warriors. Down by 18 as they go into the second half. A sudden death match for them. Stacey Jones will need to pluck something out very special in this second half, Peter Sterling.
Yes, they've got plenty of work to do, especially when you have a look at to his new possession flow rates. Parramatta, just a very nice steady flow there, isn't there? A lot of ball early there. You can see the early tries to Hindmarsh and to Daniel Wagon. And teams love these fat columns where they're putting together back-to-back sets. A little bit of a lean period in there and a mistake to finish the half, but overall very good. 17 from 21 possessions in the completion department. While for the Warriors, well, it just doesn't get any worse. Have a look at that. Only 15 possessions. I think you're looking at about 20, normally a half. From there through to the end of the first half is probably 10 minutes of football. They've had the ball 3 times and they made 3 mistakes. And again, very lean through here. No tall blue columns at all. No wonder they're trailing by such a margin.
And that Tui's possession flow has transferred across to the match stats. Line breaks in favour of Parramatta. Total tackles. Well, this is the problem for the Warriors. They've had to do far too many tackles. As a result, too many missed tackles. And down the bottom there, 60% possession of the Eels. History shows that if you do that, you're probably going to be down 4 tries to 1. And that's the score at half-time, 24 to 6.
We are ready for this second 40 minutes. Warriors lined up for the restart from Ivan Cleary. 24-6 to start the second half. And Denny Sullivan has first possession for Parramatta. Their most famous comeback of the year was against the Bulldogs. First half of the year, the Warriors trailed by 16 going into the final 6 minutes. And somehow came out with a draw. Whether that can happen today, we will find out.
Coach Brian Smith likes to set his side at a new goal each week, and he highlighted this week that the 10 or 15 minutes after half-time has been Parramatta's worst period of their football this season. So no doubt it's a goal of the Parramatta Eels today to win this first 15 minutes of the second half.
And Buettner, Parramatta with the breeze at their back for this second half. That kick was from the 30-metre line off the side of the boot. Melly is back for it. We haven't seen Shontaine Harpy out there since very early in the match, and that is some muscle-up defence from Parramatta. Hindmarsh and Buettner. And Melly a little slow to his feet. Faffield in off the right wing. Good to see in the open space today. Right on the Warriors 40. Deeth back in field with Villasanti. Able to offload again for Deeth. He's been as good as any forward. Richard Villasanti. Cleary keeps it alive for Tony. The Warriors try score. He's done a little giddy up there in the middle of the field. Little jump. And 5 metres short of halfway. Jason Deeth for Stacey Jones. Then for Corpu. Net front on by Daniel Wagon. Now inside Parramatta's half. Infield with Jones. Didn't get clean hold of that. Tony keeps it going along with Gutenbill standing wide. He is 35 metres away from the Eels line, but they've gone through 5 of the tackles now. The result here would be nice for them. Jones trying the bomb. This will hold up in the breeze. And the Warriors able to get at it with Miles and taken on the toe by Cleary. Hodgson has got this one covered. Right in the corner, Hodgson. A little bit fortuitous there for the Warriors. Cleary getting it on the boot and Lyon rather coming off the line. Let's get the halftime report from Ryan Girdler.
Yeah, the Eels coach Brian Smith has told the boys to control the ball and not give any silly penalties away. The last thing they want to get into is a tough first 10-15 minutes with no ball. The Warriors, on the other hand, just the reason they got here is by playing good controlled football, and they've got to do that in the first 15 to stay in this match.
Sullivan will play it for the Eels. Taking the front on there by Swan. And PJ Marsh charged down there by Corpu. Not covered up by Buettner. Could have been play on for the Warriors. So Manda has to come up with a decision there.
Well, he's got a knock on from Michael Buettner, so we're looking at a Warriors feed. And that's a good display of urgency from the Warriors, a charge down.
When I give you instructions during the game, I do it to prevent a penalty, okay? Listen to me, mate, and we won't penalise. I don't want you barking at me like that,
mate,
okay?
You're telling me to move to the side, and he's got my leg wrapped up. I can't go.
You don't have to yell and scream like the way you did, mate.
This scrum will pack down 30 metres away from the Parramatta line. And Jones had a little look to the blind side from this scrum. He breaks away. And Tony, who was in at lock, broke from the scrum for Villasanti, who gets it around the corner for Cleary. Clever play from the Warriors. 15 metres from the Parramatta line. They need to score first. Tony inside with Torpy. He keeps it alive. There with Jones, and now Gutenbill. Gutenbill's only 5 metres from the line. Early chance for the Warriors in this second half. Deeth, Jones, Villasanti running straight at Hindmarsh. That's Ian, who's up top in the tackle. Taylor was low. And still the pressure on the minor premiers. Jason Deeth from dummy half goes Jason Deeth. Having a little dash at them, and Hindmarsh hangs on with Taylor and Solomona. And now they get their chance to go right. Jones and Tony, and now there's a gap for Corpu. Violecki has to close that gap. That is tackle 5 for the Warriors. Tony, blindside play last from Torpy, the kick. It is covered up by Burt. And the Warriors will get a back-to-back set of 6.
And an impressive set of 6 it was from the Warriors. They showed good patience, a nice kick at the end to get a restart from under the crossbar. And that's more like it. And the Warriors actually set up in their attacking fashion very similar to Parramatta. They play their back rowers wide. And it's a good battle out there. I think they'll continue looking to get Gutenbill and their lock forward, Corpu, on the fringes of the ruck.
Line drop out. Will come down on halfway. Cleary up for CUCU. He almost lost it. Warriors Player of the Year. 30 metres away from the Parramatta line. And now Deef. The change is fairly level. There's Jones. They go right with Cleary. Then the ball high for Korpu. He brushed away from Taylor. Wagon has had a mission on that side of the field today. Cleary out of dummy half, causing some problems there. Wagon again makes the tackle. Warriors now 10 metres from the line. They've got the run of play. Torpy. He's contained there by Violecki. So now the full width to work with for the Warriors. Jones calling for it. He's with it. Stacey Jones, the number 7. Then for Motu Tony, who's getting a fair deal of confidence in this game. He's trying a few things. That's the last tackle for the Warriors. Deef, Jones, they've already had back-to-back sets. They may get 3 in a row as the kick goes across field. It's play on with Fafili. Then for Korpu. Korpu's pass knocked on there by Swan for Torpy. And now it'll go over the sideline. No call of knock on. And Tim Mander eventually blows his whistle.
That's where you are, Jason.
He picked up the first knock on. But what followed was quite exciting.
I think Parramatta have nearly conceded today that Farfuli will come up with all those crossfield kicks. I said earlier in the game he comes up with more ball off those kicks, get up higher than any other player in the game. But just unlucky the ball couldn't get the hand here for the Warriors. Knocked on there by Swan when an opportunity was in the offering.
Tenth error of the game for the Warriors. As Parramatta bring it out from their 20 and they're prepared to spread the ball. Lions try a highlight of this match. He offloaded there. And now the opportunity with Lauer TT for the Warriors. Not going right for Parramatta. Jason Deeth with the ball. He is 25 metres from the Parramatta line. And they are spread out with Jones. They appreciate the urgency of the situation. Korpu look to pass. A dummy to Torpy. Now Jones for Deeth. Deeth keeps it alive on the bounce for Villasanti. He gets to pull the ball. In fact, he's lost it. And Moody is with it for Parramatta. They squander an opportunity, the New Zealand Warriors. And with Ian Hindmarsh.
Well, last set of 6 down close to the line was patient, but they're now trying to go too wide too early and not set the platform in the middle of the ruck. They've got to get more go forward, the Warriors, with these big men. Put the Parramatta defence on the back foot and then attack out wide.
They scored the final 2 tries of the first half, Parramatta. Wagon for Nathan Kalis, back off the bench, inside for Marsh. He got away from CUCU. 35 metres away. Tackle number 5 again with Parramatta. Taylor steadies for the kick, tries the short one. It wasn't his best off the boot. Cleary's got it covered up. There was a challenge on the chaser. I'm not sure whether this was interference on Taylor or on Hodgson, who was running through, but either way, it's a penalty in front of the post, 15 metres out.
Yeah, and a costly one to the Warriors, who have dominated the first 7.5 minutes of this second half. First time Parramatta come down, Taylor put a little kick through. He is bumped by Jason Deeth. Brett Hodgson was also taken out of the play, a little wider, out of frame there.
Well, I'm hoping, Gus, that it is the Brett Hodgson one, because I don't think the Jason Taylor one deserved. He's quite within his rights to stop. He doesn't have to move out of the way, Jason Deeth.
Well, I don't think either of them were going to get to the football. Pretty harsh penalty there, and this will take the lead beyond 18 points, beyond 3 converted tries. And in the opening 7.5 minutes of this second half, the Warriors probably don't deserve that. It's been a slow start by the Eels. I guess the question here is, Andrew, just when does Brian Smith bring Brad Drew back into the contest? Does he try to blow them away, or does he wait for the last 15, 20 minutes as he usually does?
I think he will wait, Gus, because he was out there for half an hour, which is probably 10 minutes longer than normal.
And Taylor successful from right in front. They extend their lead. The 4th qualifying final, it is 26-6. Drew played the first 33 minutes here today. He ends up normally with a 45-minute tally. Marsh out there at the moment as dummy half and hooker.
No starts, fellas. Yeah, what's the short one? No starts.
We are 9 minutes into this second half, and it is 26-6. And the Warriors, they're staring down the barrel now. First time in the playoffs. Making the changes apiece here. CU. Arresting tackle there. I don't think Kalis has been handled that way too many times this year. Solomona, another Kiwi international in the Parramatta side. Inside the Parramatta 30. Little wrestle there between Torpy and Solomona. The face-off. High ball there for Buettner. Drifting wide, got away from Miles. Quick hands from Lyon over the sideline. Parramatta open the door again for the Warriors in an attacking position.
And as that play came across the field, you can see Moody backing up, trying to keep himself onside. He just backed up a little bit too far, couldn't quite get to the football in time. I think it went forward anyway. There was certainly an opportunity there. Good quick hands from Jamie Lyon. Moody was backing up, probably when he should have been coming forward.
The error count mounting for Parramatta.
Line in together, second rows.
And this scrum 30 metres away. Corpu for Jones and Cleary. And then Tony. And now Torpy and Farfeli on the end of that three-quarter play. Farfeli decides to keep it alive for Tony. He does likewise for Cleary. It's one flat line now, Swan. Running at PJ Marsh.
But again, with that kind of attack, Parramatta will cope with it. They'll just slide, they'll call who's got who. That's more like it. Go forward, try and put a dent.
There's a good tackle from Solomona on Jones. Now Deeth across field. Cleary has Corpu on the inside. Corpu around the corner. We're seeing some marvellous skills, the offloading ability of the Warriors at the moment. Jones 10 metres out. Long ball for Lauatiti. He gets the footwork. The inside pass to Melly. And bone-crunching defence on the line from Parramatta. That is finals defence from the Eels. Last tackle, Jones. Away it comes. Cleary, long ball for Corpu, steps off the right, back inside, it's on the deck with Jones. He needs support, now gets the kick in. Little Stacey's on the chase through. Lyon's got it covered up. Jamie Lyon trying to get back to the field of play. A line dropout. What about the skills we've just seen there?
Sensational football from both sides. New Zealand Warriors are doing a Parramatta on Parramatta, keeping the ball alive. Watch this defence from Parramatta. It was a try for all money to Melly. Lyon gets back there, Kalis, and they push him back into the field of play. And now the little man Jones tries his luck with a short one. And that's Jamie Lyon, the centre, who's floated in field to follow the play across the field. Couldn't quite get it back into the in field of play. Great football from both teams.
His one-handed carry is very much in vogue at the moment. Jamie Lyon, just one hand on the ball in goal. We saw it last night from Luke Patton, from Trent Barrett. And Melly comes back for the Warriors, almost getting a try on the previous set. 35 away from the line. Jones sends him to the left. Lauatiti, he was quiet in the first half. He's one of their most potent weapons in attack. Jones misses out CU with a pass and finds Tony. Cleary's coming into his own here. Corpu now for the try line, the lock forward. Corpu. They may just check this with a video ref to put down. Warangi Corpu, it is a try. The Warriors second. Perhaps they're not out of it. 26-10.
And that is reward for perseverance. Going from side to side. This time, just a misread by Daniel Wagon on the inside. Keeping the ball coming wide, a second man pass. As we freeze it there, you can just see the Parramatta player a little bit slow in coming across to close up this gap. And the try scorer will come back on the inside. As play continues, just a little bit of lack of urgency, and the big Fen gets rid of Daniel Wagon. Then Corpu goes through the tackle of Hodgson, gets the ball down. And there is still plenty of time for the Warriors. And they have started the second half well.
He's been a real find this year, Warangi Corpu. Great footwork, tall, rangy. A little bit of a bobble there on the put down. I think Andrew Voss was right probably to have a look at that. As we see him stride towards the line, he'll beat Hodgson with strength and a step. I guess in fast speed it looked okay, and Ivan Cleary needs this goal.
Cleary doesn't muck about with his attempt. He's successful. The Warriors a real confidence booster there. 54 gone, it's 26-12. Qualifying final from Parramatta Stadium. Up around 20,000, and they're a little more nervous now, the Parramatta fans. The the margin is now 14 points in this fourth qualifying final. A match Brisbane fans are hoping Parramatta will win. If the Warriors somehow come back to record a victory here, the Broncos would join the Roosters on the sideline for the season.
And again, Andrew, 15 minutes gone in this second half, and the Warriors lead the second half by 6 points to 2. It's a poor period for the Parramatta Eels, but they do finish strongly.
The opposition half has favoured the Warriors. Their result has been 2 tries. They've conceded 4. And this is on the 40-metre line. Deeth for Jones. And they come right. Ivan Cleary's having a good game. Experienced fullback. And he's got Corpu in support all the time. Deeth out of dummy half, 5th tackle. This kick is going to be over the sideline on the full. It's into row F, the kick from Jason Deeth. It was last tackle. It will be a changeover. They put one out on the full from the kick-off in the first half. They failed to find touch from a penalty also in the first half. And Jason Deeth throws his kick there. So Parramatta 5 inside their half. PJ Marsh, Alex Chan is back out there. And Brent Hodgson working to the right. Buettner! Straight through goes Michael Buettner. Plenty of support. And Taylor's there. His old buddy goes in to score. The comeback man, Jason Taylor, scores for Parramatta.
Yes, the most experienced set of halves in the competition, combined beautifully. They go across field. He frees it there. He runs great lines, Michael Buettner. He comes straight, and that catches this Warriors defence out. They're not expecting him to come straight. A beautiful ball, slices through untouched, and then on the inside, the 6 back to the 7. Jason Taylor, 20 metres to run. He'll have an easy conversion. And again, as we saw in the first half, when the Warriors scored, Parramatta hit back almost immediately.
Sign of a good side, Sterlo. I was just looking at the clock, 24 minutes to go. I thought, get Brad Drew out there, and all of a sudden Brett Hodgson gets to dummy half and does a Brad Drew of his own. He floated across the field in that little in and away run. Buettner read it perfectly, hit the hole, and his old North Sydney Bears teammate Jason Taylor was backing up. PJ Marsh it was, sorry. And that's the play before. Now comes on to Brett Hodgson. It was Brett Hodgson. Gets in, little in and away out of dummy half. In and away, short ball. Beautifully read there by Buettner. Now back inside to Taylor. Streaks away under the post, and an immediate hit back by the minor premiers.
And to convert his own try, I said the comeback man. He was in Rugby League oblivion this time last year. Back in first grade, possibly bound for the grand final. Ryan Girdler sideline.
Yeah, as Gus said, they have that many players that can do the same job. I mean, if it's not Brad Drew causing problems, it's Brett Hodgson. So they're running the right lines, and they're a good side. They bounce straight back, and they're certainly shaping up hard to beat.
Taylor getting quite a healthy points tally here today. Now 6 goals and a try, 16 points. A man who will restart play. The last time they clashed, scored 17 points over there at Ericsson Stadium. Scored a try, kicked 6 goals and a field goal.
No starts, boys. Make sure you get it right.
And now it is 20 points, 32-12, and the clock becomes an enemy for the Warriors. Hodgson fields the kickoff. Alex Chan comes back. Alex Chan runs almost back to the 30. Chan, possibly his best run ever. Daniel Wagon.
Well, he was an interesting selection today because Jason Kalis played in the first division. Many would have thought Jason Kalis would have come in for Michael Vella, but obviously Brian Smith liked the bulk, the size of Alex Chan.
Hello, Gus. Hindmarsh is away. Plenty of sport inside. It's Brett Hodgson. Fafili chases in vain. Parramatta are on the march, and I reckon they can have next weekend off. That will be the reward. 36-12, Sterlo.
Yeah, starting to run away with it now, and again it was just a big man on little man. Nathan Hindmarsh. I thought Violecki might have been the man aimed at Stacey Jones this afternoon, but it was Nathan Hindmarsh. Just too big, too strong. He's in such great form at the moment and holds it right to the death. Make sure that the fullback was committed, and Brett Hodgson. Now, Braithen Astor is a great backup man. We saw that last night. There is none better in the game than this number 1. He'll go through 99 times out of 100. Just for that one time when it will be the time that he'll get the ball to score.
And it's great perseverance by Parramatta. They've gone down that short side a number of times today. Stacey Jones kept making his tackles on the bigger man, Nathan Hindmarsh. but they didn't stop doing it just because it wasn't working every time. Nathan Hindmarsh kept lining up, putting his hand in the air, says, there's Stacey Jones, give me another run, give me another run. And this time he was just able to thunder over the top of the little Warriors halfback and create the space for Hodgson to race away and score. And the minor premiers stamp their authority on this first semi-final.
Taylor kicking at 81% this year, from 9 in from touch, 21 metres out. This western side of Parramatta Stadium. Taylor's kick in flight. Crowd go up, flags are up, and another 2 to the Eels, 38-12, Ryan sideline.
Yeah, that's probably the third or fourth good break Nathan Hindmarsh has made today. He's come off with a bit of a sore knee, which is a bit of a concern for the Eels, but this is the kind of footy they love. When it opens up, they do the hard work early, and now they really play some good footy.
Taylor to the bench as well, with Nathan Hindmarsh.
Talking to Brian Smith during the week, Jason Taylor was out most of the week with flu, so it's no surprise they're giving him a rest. As we see the short kick-off taken by Wagon, he's away.
Daniel Wagon, fine young athlete, has given the best, don't argue, you will ever see on Logan Swan. He's knocked him back 5 metres. They're 40 metres from the line, Parramatta. Alex Chan, this is becoming a celebration for the Eels fans. Solomona, he can do some dancing, big David Solomona. And the ball comes loose and a knock-on against the Eels.
Well, it's all unravelling now for the Warriors, isn't it, as we enter the last quarter of this game. And it'd be a shame if the scoreline raced away from them, because they deserve better than that. They've had a great season. In fact, they can boast the fact that they've had 7 victories against top 8 sides throughout the year, and I don't think there are many teams in the competition who can say they have such a success rate against the quarter-finalists. But unfortunately, this one is getting away from them, and the missed tackles continue to mount.
Andrew, the point I wanted to make about Jason Taylor being sick during the week was that Brad Drew actually trained at halfback for the Parramatta Eels, expecting Jason Taylor to be out. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if in the last 20 minutes Brad Drew plays halfback and PJ Marsh stays in the hooking role.
Well, they've got all bases covered. They did that they started preparing, started fine-tuning 4 or 5 weeks out from the finals, specifically aimed at anything that may come up, anything that may go wrong. They were prepared to overcome whatever hurdles are presented to them. Stacey Jones is with it for the Warriors on halfway. Wide with Melly, took on Butner, found Swan on his outside. 45 metres away from the Parramatta line, 7 through the line breaks. Warriors have created their own problems. There's still some work for Parramatta to do. Cleary's with the ball here, kicking, and Hodgson has this one easily. Inside his 20, Brett Hodgson. And now Parramatta will settle again inside their 30. It's impressive stuff, 6 tries. That's what Newcastle did last night to the Roosters. And Ian Hindmarsh running down that right side and dunked for his troubles there as Shontaine Harpy drove in the tackle. Real mystery, the replacement of Harpy in the first half very early. Parramatta short of halfway, PJ Marsh. Brad Drew linking up there with Daniel Wagon. He was in doubt coming into the match with an ankle injury. There's another left arm fend from Daniel Wagon. 35 metres from the Warriors line. He's left a few of these Warriors with bruised chests in this game. Now Brad Drew, the little kick, has Solomona chasing through. Lauatiti doesn't get a bounce. It was taken on the toe, and the Warriors come down with the ball.
And Brad Drew at first receiver. Little chip kick in behind the line there. Parramatta Eels still working on their game, still trying new things. That one nearly bared fruit there, only well fallen on by David Miles.
That was the player who took it on the toe. You could ask for no quicker man to be there on the spot. Suyu, that look forward, the pass from Nat Wood, who's out there for the Warriors. Without a club for next year, Nat Wood. But now the Warriors run into open space, and a big gap at that from Harpy. Couldn't link up with Nat Wood, and it's play on for Parramatta. So they come back with a counter-attack. They're set up on the left. Wilson was worried about a shepherd around the back of Moody, and basically submitted in the tackle. And the Eels, an offload for Butner. Came from Ian Hindmarsh. Wide ball. Violecki takes it on the boot. Interesting play. Now keeps it alive. That one-handed carry. And he's 40 metres from the Warriors line. Daniel Wagon. Passing there for Kalis. Lovely short pass for Chan. He was collared in the tackle of Swan. They go left. Brad Drew is playing halfback. The dummy and a little shuffle wrapped up there by the two front rowers for the Warriors. They are 15 away and closing in possibly on a 7th try, the Eels. Solomona. He will not go to ground with the ball. Wagon now picking up the loose one. Wagon will get there. That's his second. And up go the Parramatta fans yet again. It really is a day of celebration for the minor premiers.
And relentless pressure there from Parramatta. And all of a sudden the Warriors are looking very tired, missing a lot of tackles, and this is too soft in finals football. Daniel Wagon, he's got nowhere to go. He's confronted by 3 players. They all fall off. Lauatiti, Ivan Cleary. It does not augur well for the last 15 minutes because you don't think this is going to be the last points that Parramatta score in this game.
Now, a lot of tired forwards around the middle of the ruck here. Sterlo, Solomona out of dummy half, just jinked forward, held by 2 or 3 players, but was prepared to throw the ball on the ground knowing there'd be a Parramatta player to pick it up. Brad Drew scooped it up to that man Wagon, and he just found some tired Warriors forwards unable to set themselves for a good shot, and his footwork, his strength, put in a little bit of desire too, because he's such a competitor, was able to get himself across for his 2nd try of the afternoon.
And Luke Burt will take over the kicking with Taylor off the field. At this stage, with a win to Parramatta, we are looking at the Dragons against Brisbane next week, and the Sharks against the Bulldogs. And Parramatta and Newcastle, they will be watching it all, as Wagon is to the bench. So 3 of the guns are there, Wagon, Taylor and Nathan Hindmarsh.
And that's interesting because they'll obviously get a fortnight's break now. Whether or not you think a little bit of football under their belt would help, I guess they've been going for 27 weeks.
And Burt from 11 metres out. Pretty handy man to have as number 2 kicker. He is successful as well, keeping up the run of Jason Taylor. We will break with 14 remaining. It is 44-12. 7 tries to 2. And the Warriors' first ever appearance in finals football.
No stats.
The hopes of the Warriors now dashed as Tony takes the short kick off, and Solomona comes from nowhere to come up with the ball, then does his trademark bump and run. And this time not able to pass. Violecki was hurt in the exchange, trying to capture that kick-off. Chan, Villasanti, the Terminator. He has cleaned him up, and he stands over his man now, Richard Villasanti.
That was fine. That was fine.
Yeah, still a little bit of fire in the belly here from Villasanti. We saw one in the first half on Ian Hindmarsh. Now here's a beautiful shot. Well, actually, it's a clash of heads. I don't know that he can take a rap for the shot. It was just bad luck that Alex Chan has ducked into the head, right on top of the head there from Villasanti, onto the chin of Alex Chan, and he's in a bit of trouble.
If I'm not wrong, Villasanti not long back from a facial fracture either. And I reckon that will test out the surgical work that was done on Alex Chan. Villasanti was all pumped up.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you can be too pumped up when your side trails by 32. It takes away a little bit of the aura about it, as we see Nathan Kalis about to come back into the action. Awful thing to see in a game of rugby league, a head clash.
I was just watching Nathan Kalis look up at the big screen. The pictures of Villasanti standing over his teammate. He couldn't get off the bench quickly enough, the Parramatta captain.
And great to see Alex Chan actually jogging off. He was a surprise selection, but he's justified the confidence shown by Brian Smith. Haven't seen much of him in the top grade. The Parramatta fans, they voice their approval as he leaves the field.
Only 5 first-grade games before today for Parramatta, and his 9th career game overall. In one of those 5 games he played this year, he was sent off against the Canberra Raiders.
Well, I'll tell you what, Alex Chan has come from the field, but Brian Smith has not sent on a replacement. Now, maybe this is another test. Play with 12 men for a while, in case we get sin bins or whatever. He's always thinking, Brian Smith. There's only 12 out there for the Parramatta Eels. Kalis was on the sideline and he pulled him back. He said, play with 12 men for a while.
got a dangerous tackle here on Solomona. Clinton Torpey's in a bit of trouble here. Solomona's okay.
The referee's saying the arm was between the legs in a lifting fashion.
I'll explain it to you in a minute. You can't put the hand in the crutch, okay? As soon as you do that, there's a good chance you're going to put the guy in a dangerous position, okay? So we're going to put that on report. No,
Clinton Torpey on report. He's the number 3.
I agree.
And yeah, well handled there by Tim Mander.
No doubt where he had his hands there. And Alan Wilson, the trainer there for Parramatta, went right across to every Parramatta player, and I believe he's telling them, you're now down to 12 men. Go to your 12-man drill. And maybe part of the 12-man drill is wearing down the clock with kicks from 40 metres out when you're 44 to 12 in front. An extraordinary decision by the Eels to take a kick at goal.
Torpey joins the list of players on report from this weekend. It has given Luke Burt the chance for more points. Torpey, one of a host of players before this season, had only had a handful of first-grade matches, and yet have gone on to star this year, getting their team to the finals.
He uses an awful amount of sand, doesn't he, Luke Burt, when he kicks, and it's like a mini explosion when he actually puts boot to ball.
No kicking tee for Luke Burt from 40 metres out and 15 in from touch. Certainly with a distance, Luke Burt, but it's going to sail wide of the posts. And Miles brings it back from the in goal. And it's tackled short of the 20-metre line. At 44 points to 12. Melly goes across field. Passes there for Fafili. Here's Little Jink. Wood back for Siu. Typical charge from the front rower for the Warriors. Out of dummy half goes Nat Wood. This is good running. Jones in support. Inside the Parramatta half. Jamie Lyon doesn't get him to ground. Gutenbill, plenty of support on the left side. He's able to offload. There was no call of held. Nat Wood keeps it alive now, the knock-off. It promised plenty, and in the end it delivers a scrum feed to Parramatta.
Well, that's the kind of football I expected the Warriors to start with this afternoon. A very good charge by a front rower, a quick play of the ball, and all of a sudden the defence going backwards. We see Stacey Jones get into the clear almost, held on to by Jamie Lyon. Unfortunately at the end, a knock on, but they'd come 40 metres because of one good charge and a quick play of the ball.
We're going to wait for Jerry to come in.
And this scrum 30 metres out from the Parramatta line.
Hold steady. No, hold. No. Audio.
And still with 12 men, the Parramatta Eels. Brad Drew playing at halfback. Jason Moody passing there for Violecki. And again, they look to upend Violecki. It was Jones this time taking himself a leg. 3 in the tackle. Violecki gets up laughing. This is Millie waiting to come on from the sideline as Parramatta with it. 5 inside their own half. Brad Drew. And almost Siu coming through to take Chad Robertson out. He did a little recovery mission there, Siu, having missed him at first attempt. He came again. Brad Drew back with Butner. Looking to link there with Ian Hindmarsh. Butner is 35 metres from the Warriors line. And this is the last tackle with Brad Drew. Let's see what they can come up with. Brad Drew, the little chip in support on the inside. What rugby league from the 12-man Parramatta Eels that tune up for bigger things to come. Hodgson gets a double as well, and it is 48-12.
Just great vision again from Brad Drew. Realises from first receivers, we freeze it there. It is the last play. There's a huge amount of space if he can get the ball in there, and he does. A deft little kick from Brad Drew. He's got good speed, slides between the Tide defenders, and this man, he is always there. Brett Hodgson, again, a simple pass onto the chest, under the post. So simple, but so well executed.
Brad Drew playing at halfback, trained there during the week. Villasanti ran through quickly on him, thinking he was going to put up a bomb. He just put a little shimmy on him, got around the outside. Look at Brett Hodgson with a smile on the face. Oh, I love backing up these Parramatta players. He says there's opportunities everywhere.
And don't forget, this is with 12 men. They're putting points on the opposition when they don't have the full complement.
It's extraordinary the tests that Brian Smith has put on this side in the last month, resting players, playing them out of position in different positions. And today he's taken the opportunity to play with 12 men for a period of time, just in case there's a sin bin or something happens during one of the latter final games. They are covering every base, the Parramatta Eels, in an effort to do a victory lap in the last weekend in September.
And Burt from in front to bring up the 50. I don't think you can ask for much more than this from Parramatta. In this fourth qualifying final, Ryan Girdler's sideline, it is 50 points to 12.
Yeah, they're having a lot of fun, aren't they? You can see the bench having a bit of a laugh, but Brian Smith, he's showing a lot of confidence in his players, and I'm sure he'll be happy with the way they've handled it. As for Brad Drew, well, coming from a player that played with him last year, it's a shame to see him go, but he's really come along in leaps and bounds.
An amazing stat produced by the guru, David Middleton. Parramatta becoming only the second team to reach 50 in a finals match ever. Newtown was the other side back in 1944 the year. Quite incredible from Parramatta.
I saw a Newtown jersey in the crowd today. Just thought I'd throw that in. I hadn't seen one footy for a long time.
We'll walk down memory lane. Parramatta, who clashed with Newtown when they won their first title back in '81. Parramatta 15 metres inside their own half. And going with Drew for Solomona. Running there at Torpy. Solomona keeps the body moving. The arms, the legs, there's plenty in motion. Crowd in excess of 17,000 today. On halfway, PJ Marsh. Solomona's got up after being tackled by Torpy. They're 45 metres from the line, PJ Marsh. The 12-man Eels. Marsh taken high there by Villasanti. Right around the face, the palm of the hand of Richard Villasanti.
Okay, Stace. Richard. Yeah.
It is frustrating times for New Zealand.
Toopy.
Biggest day in the club's history.
Here.
It's all come undone, Peter.
He's also calling out the number 3, Clinton Torpy, who went a sneaky little knee into the face of David Solomona in a tackle.
Okay.
So he's actually addressing two incidents at the same time.
Well, I'll tell you something, Peter. David Solomona is one of the most quiet blokes you'll ever meet. He's having a verbal stoush here with Torpy, who just refused to come out. He might find himself in the bin here, Clinton Torpy.
Here. Let's just take it easy. Just come here for a two.
This is a real committee meeting now.
Cool it down.
Standing room only.
Listen to the touch judge for a moment. Let's forget your incident. This is the other one.
Both of these players are having a bit of a set on each other, mainly initiated by this New Zealand player. Right?
Okay.
This player's quite accommodating as well.
Okay.
But this player's your main instigator and he needs to be dealt with.
Right out. Thank you very much. I've spoken to you already about this, okay? In the play of the ball, as soon as you finish the tackle, just roll away. You've got about 7 or 8 minutes to go for the end of the season, Stacey. Let's keep a little discipline about ourselves and stay on this field. Richard, you're getting lazy. Yeah, you're around here, though. Let's get the tackles down. Okay, we're going to put that on report that last.
Villasanti's on report. Torpy stays out there. Penalty Parramatta.
I've been a little bit disappointed in the Warriors in the last 5 or 10 minutes. It's all right to be tough and aggressive, but I think they've gone over the top once they've realised the game was out of reach. No reason to finish off a good season like this in the bad books with the crowd and the referee. And again, Luke Burt coming in, getting some goal-kicking practice, just in case he's needed in the big games. No doubt there was a little nudge from the knee there from Torpy. And Richard Villasanti on report. The Parramatta Eels taking a little bit of time, perhaps, to take the steam out of the Warriors. Luke Burt with another long-range penalty attempt.
Villasanti is off to the bench. Just a little acknowledgement there from David Violecki as they left the field. Burt, in the meantime, you can see how far out he is. It's well downtown. It's 36 metres out. He's had some good moments with a boot, Luke Burt, for Parramatta. I remember a sideline conversion against the Eagles here last year to win a game. Just off centre with this one again. Plenty of distance off the boot. And again, unsuccessful, Luke Burt. It'll be a 20-metre restart. The dropout from the Warriors. Ryan Girdler sideline.
Yeah, mate. I think the Warriors have really missed Campion and Monty Beaton today. I mean, they do a lot of their defensive work, and some of the defence that the big fellas have had to do in their absence have really taken their toll.
The short dropout was long, probably went long by 5 or 6 metres, what Modu Tony was hoping for. Parramatta with it outside the 40. Still playing with 12 men. Maybe Brian Smith will take off another one for the last 4. Make them play with 11. 40 metres away from the line. Robinson. He's 30 metres away. PJ Marsh. And Brad Drew going left with Butner. Here is Solomona. Wrapping around him was Butner. This is lovely rugby league. Intercept there for Fafili, and Fafili over the sideline. Play on as he passed inside. Burt gets the ball. 15 metres out. Solomona in a dummy half. They've already got 50, but they're not finished yet. PJ Marsh, a step almost through the tackle of Lauatiti. Only 5 metres from the line. Brad Drew. Long pass out of dummy half to Ian Hindmarsh, who scored the first try. It was knocked down there by Gutenbiel. It'll be a Parramatta scrum feed. 10 metres out. 8 tries to 2. 3.5 minutes remaining. This was the work of Fafili, keeping it alive. A ticking across there for his work. He kept it alive, but it was to a Parramatta player. Gutenbiel at the finish, knocking the ball forward.
Scrum feed 10 metres out, lined out very deep here to the left. 2 on the short side. Brad Drew, the halfback, feeding the scrum.
Right on the 10-metre line. Drew working this scrum and passes for Hodgson. Hodgson flicks it out the back for Butner. There's an overlap here. The long ball for Burt. Burt slides. He weaves. He crawls on his hands and knees and gets another try for Parramatta. With 12 men, you tell me how they come up with an overlap. It's 54 to 12.
Great passing and great vision. First of all, the play by Brad Drew to get Brett Hodgson on the outside of his man. He nearly streaked through, and as all Parramatta players do, flick it out the back, there'll be someone there. Watch this pass from Butner. A god long pass out to Luke Burke, comes back in field, ducks, dummies, struggles, and gets the ball over the line despite the attention of 3 Warriors players.
It doesn't matter how you get there as long as you do. And Luke Burt, nothing was going to stop him from getting across, reaching out. But it all came from that first pass from Brad Drew. The very fact that he got his man on the outside attracted defenders in, and all of a sudden there was an opportunity out wide. Butner's been outstanding this afternoon. Fine game from him in the 5/8 position.
We mentioned Newtown, the only other team to ever exceed 50 points in a finals match. They scored 55 in 1944, so now Parramatta shoot for yet another record. It has been a year of records for the Eels. This one has stood for 47 years, or 57 years.
I'll bet Luke Burt doesn't know he's kicking for a record.
And the one thing that the McIntyre system does do, it keeps everybody on their toes. Brisbane can now sit back knowing they're in action next week. The seeding said that the Dragons and the Warriors were favoured to go out in this first weekend. Well, they were half right. Roosters were the team that saw a side win underneath them on the competition ladder. They make the exit. Burt, no dramas.
He's going to break the Blue Band's record. Burt with the goal, the highest ever tally of points in a final. Ryan Girdler sideline.
Yeah, just watching these Eels players come back. I mean, they're having a real ball out there. They love playing their footy. But take nothing away from the Warriors. They've had a great season this year, and all these guys that have played their first semi-finals in years to come will handle a lot better. And, I mean, you know, they've just had a great year, and I'm sure they go back as heroes.
Brian Smith is down on the bench with his troops. And today he came up against his old apprentice, Daniel Anderson, who won a First Division premiership in '99 with Parramatta. In his first year of first-grade football, in charge of the Warriors. And that kick has found the line from the restart. They thought they were away. They will get a scrum feed out of it.
Great to see Brian Smith go and congratulate everybody. All the helpers, Daniel Irvine, players who've competed. It's a club effort, this victory, and they can smell success.
Well, it doesn't get more comprehensive than that. 9 tries to 2 to the Parramatta Eels in the 4th qualifying final. We say goodbye to the Warriors for season 2001. They join the Roosters on the sidelines, and the Eels will join Newcastle next weekend. They will have the weekend off. So full time, Parramatta 56, defeating the New Zealand Warriors 12.